Hello and welcome to day 3 of our 3-day event to create your very own journal empire. And as you see, lots going on here. And these are catalogs for different materials. And we're going to be checking these out together today. So today it's all about creating beautifully designed, not a design, create journals with beautiful material. That's basically what I want to say. And that's what we want to focus on today because that adds a lot to the perceived value. The reason why we can have a very profitable business with a journal and planner is because on one end, the value is the content, but also another very important component why you can make so much more money with physical products that you can do with KDP is because there is also a additional perceived value through high quality products. So yeah, we're going to have fun today looking at these. I see you're coming in. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Awesome. Cool. So let's get started with what we always get started with. Say hi. And we're going to make sure that everyone has the workbook for today. In today's workbook, we do have a little bit of a sheet that guides you through different types of materials, and not only materials, but also sizes and accessories that we can think of. And we're going to be checking out Amazon a little bit today as well, analyzing some of the products that have been doing well to see, okay, what are the different materials and different binding options that we can be looking at. And another thing we're going to be covering today is a way of you getting sales before actually manufacturing your product. So you can pre-fund your product by doing pre-sales. So we're going to be touching that a little bit as well. Okay, so I see people coming in. Sandy's coming in from Scotland. Bina from San Diego. Nice to see you all. Hello, everyone who's live, and then everyone who's watching the replays. I know we have many people watching replays. I'm also saying hi to you. Good. I'll share my screen. And I share the whole window this time, making it a lot easier to go between tabs. This is today's workbook. It is a little bit smaller. Here, this is what we are trying to go for today. So we want to choose materials that we like. We want to have a direction with colors. Ideally, also what type of accessories we like to have. We want to put this all together to have a clear vision of what our stationery product is going to be. Only if we have a clear vision are we able to ask for quotes, and that is also important to be able to calculate our profit margins and return on investment. You cannot select a product without having a quote and knowing how much it's going to cost you and knowing if whatever accessories you've chosen, whatever material you have chosen actually makes sense for your project or not. So we cannot just blindly choose materials and then say like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. We need to choose them, of course, but then look at what the quotes say and if that is going to make sense business-wise as well, or if there are any other alternatives that are going to make sense business-wise and still going to give like a really nice user experience for the buyer who's buying our product. If you go down, here you have a sheet. By clicking on it, you'll be able to then have a little bit of a cheat sheet to look through all the different types of materials, bindings, and papers, sizes, and so on. This is going to be helpful for you to have a little bit of a guidance as well, and to know after the 3-day event as well, to know, okay, these are the things that I can consider as you're creating your content and as you're creating your journals and planners. Before we open up all of these beautiful files and look at the different possibilities, I want to first thank so many who have joined since yesterday. We are now over 200 members in the Impact Stationery Creators. I'm so grateful. Those that have joined, you will see that the bonus dashboard is in here that you can access by just going through that link, and then you just click make a copy, and then you'll have your very own dashboard that includes space for product ideas, different checklists for different phases where your product is in, so you know that no step is missed. You can check your product profitability, product details, branding, inventory tracker, quote comparison, everything in one place. These are things that I personally use for my own business. I wanted them to be in one file, and this is a bonus that I'm sharing with all members in here. And everyone who is joining, not only will you get the course for $111 a month. This is something we've never, ever done before. We've never had all of these pieces, basically how to research, how to design, how to create, getting samples, tearing our manufacturers' details, our sourcing agents, our contracts, our lawyers' details, our shipping companies' details, trademark detail. Like, we share basically all the pieces of our process with you here, including the Amazon launch. We've never offered it for a monthly membership. It was always a course. And the last price we had in May was $1,999 for the whole course. And for the month of June, which is until tomorrow, 28th of June, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're offering it for $111 a month. Don't be fooled by it being a membership. Sometimes when it's a membership, it can come across as if there was not as much inside. Don't be fooled by that. This is like a full, proper, step-by-step course, plus group coaching, plus manufacturing coaching calls, plus all my contacts, plus hot seats with me, plus content coaching, mindset coaching, co-working sessions, all of that. And that was only available for $1,999 just until the 31st of May. On the 1st of June, that was the first time we opened the doors for the Impact Stationery Creators, and until the 28th, tomorrow, it is at $111 a month, which is insane. From the 29th, we are increasing it to $222 a month, similar to the original price. Right now, you're getting it at a massive discount because we are just celebrating the opening and transition to school. It's the first time that we have a coaching program on school, and I must say I'm loving it. I love school so freaking much. You know why? Because Facebook is a freaking distraction. I love Bridgerton. Maybe some of you also do. And my feed is just full of Bridgerton memes, Bridgerton this, Bridgerton that. And even though I want to be on Facebook to learn and to be connected in the community, my brain will be distracted immediately, and I'll be spending half an hour reading comments in a Bridgerton meme and thinking, my goodness, now I've really wasted a lot of time. I love school. School is focused. There's everything in one place. You don't have to navigate lots of different platforms. You have the community in one place. Community is super visible here. If you look at the engagement as well on the comment section, there are always people seeing all these different posts. On Facebook, that was not the case. we had also over 200 people in the Facebook group, and people were not seeing the posts. It was really difficult to get that reach and also the focus. So here you can also have the school app on your phone. You get notifications if you choose to. You have your classes, your calendar, everything in one place. You can, as soon as you see something that you're interested in, for example, here there's a coaching call, you can add that to whatever calendar you are using, if it's Google, Apple, Outlook, whatever calendar. It's nicely organized because at the end of the day, our lives are already filled with distractions. It's just how it is, right? Like we're in 2024, we have the phones, we have everywhere, there's so much busyness. And I love that everything is just streamlined in one place, because at the end of the day, it's not about just consuming content and connecting with other people. It's about getting the results. Like I want you to be launching beautiful journals and planners and stationery products in the next few months. And I love seeing these celebrations when people are saying, well, I got my trademark. I just saw that a few moments ago. Or I chose a product. I've got my first sample. My product is live, right? Like these are the things that why I created this community and this course in the first place. And that's what we're here for. So I'm so happy with this transition. And for anyone who wants to join, you can still join at $111 a month. You will be grandfathered in. The price will stay even if we increase the price, which we will on the 29th. The price is increased. You can only join until the 28th, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for $111. Here again, this is everything that's included, step-by-step video modules, Amazon launch. So I'm sharing all my tactics of how I launch on Amazon, and also like the step-by-step actions that you need to take, right? Like how to set up the things within the Amazon platforms. We have Q&As, we have live coaching calls with specialists or different experts. We have hot seat coaching calls with me twice a month. You can always ask to be in a hot seat, and then you have a 30 minutes one-on-one with me on the hot seat, and others get to watch. And basically we go through whatever you need help with. And if you feel stuck somewhere, that's where you can then, oh, hey, Misty, you can then also get the support there. We have weekly co-working sessions. I can show you in the calendar as well in a moment. So these are member-led. That means that you can meet other members and together we just get the work done. Implementation in the end of the day is what is going to give us the results. Always the implementation is a very strong focus of our membership. You get access to our manufacturers. There's 3 manufacturers that I regularly work with and I recommend my clients to work with, and all of them are vetted. We also visit some of them in China. If you ever want to join us in China, we go there in October 25th until November 2nd, 8 days here in China to visit the Canton Fair, which is the biggest fair in the world for like office products as well. And journalists and planners, we go there to see new trends and tend to negotiate good prices with the manufacturers. When you have like in-person relationships, no matter what you've paid to get into China, you 10x that just by long-term savings, better payment terms, because if they get to know you after a certain time, they also agree to other more flexible payment terms. Like there's so many benefits in building that relationship. And of course, you can also start building that relationship by joining Zoom calls that are in this membership. So you'll be able to join the calls with our manufacturers. You will see them here with the manufacturing calls, and you will be able to join, ask questions, get to know the different manufacturer representatives. And of course you get the community support, which is also on its own super, super valuable, motivational, and make sure that we stay on track and get the things done. Cool. So I wanted to share that. I'm going to just make sure the link is in the chat in case someone does not have the link. And then, awesome. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask them as well. I'll be able to answer those at the end as well. Okay, just I see a few questions here. That's amazing. So that course worth over, it's worth thousands of dollars. We last sold it for $1,999, and it's now for $111 per month accessible. Donna, it does not include the $7 membership and does not include KDP. This membership is very specific just for physical products. I don't want people to get confused with print on demand. And also, I'm personally making a transition. So in 2024, I will no longer publish print on demand products. The reason is the same time that I invest in creating a print on demand product, if I put it in a physical product, I get so much more out of it because the level of revenue, profit, and also what is very important to me, I'm building an asset. Like later on, I want to sell this business. Like I love my journals and I love my journal brands. I have a few, and at some point I will sell some, and I want to have like really big paydays. I'm thinking this is going to be my retirement. This is going to be my long-term investment, my security blanket for life. Which is why I put all my effort now just in physical products, and I'm transitioning out of KDP. Anyone who is interested in KDP, I have a beautiful partnership. So those that are part of the membership, don't worry about that. We have a beautiful membership with Julie Hall, and she is my partner now in supporting me in coaching you all, because she is all about KDP, and that's all that she does. Making her the perfect person to continue coaching as I'm transitioning out of print on demand. I'm only doing physical products because I'm doubling down in this. I see so much opportunity. There's so many market gaps at this point of time. And even if I taught this thing to 1,000 people, there would still be so many market gaps for this type of product. And I'm so all in that I'm looking at how much I can put on my plate. And that's why I'm only focusing on this as of now. I'm so confused. So do we all get these through membership and we don't need to pay for 6 weeks bootcamp? Okay, so the 6 weeks advanced bootcamp is a different thing. So the membership teaches you how to do that. You can go on the coaching calls, all what you just saw, the co-working session, manufacturing calls, that's all included. The 6 weeks advanced sprint cohort is a intensive group, a smaller group, and they have access to the team that works on my Amazon brands and get more support as well. So basically you have Slack support every single week, and you can just get the feedback, get the support that you need for any step that you are in. And also you get behind the scenes of what I'm doing right now as I'm creating my own products. And it's 6 weeks. The purpose is of it being intense. At the end of 6 weeks, you have your product finished, getting for the samples, because we all are launching for Q4. And we want to have like really good Q4. I'm talking about an amazing November, amazing December, and amazing January. And that's what the 6 weeks intensive is, where there's more like, it isn't a done with you, but it has more like done with you components, because my team is going to be a lot more hands-on in your business. This is something that we are offering on top. And comes at a higher price. This comes at a $5,000 price because it has a lot more involvement from my team and lots more basically done with you components. And we have started this because we had lots of people wanting to have VIP days. We have lots of people who want like more hands-on support from our end. And this is our way of doing this first group. It's a beta group. We are not having any additional groups in the planning for now. And it's going to be like full focus on having a great Q4, getting the product out. You do have, however, all the information of how to create a product and how to do all of that in the Impact Stationery Creators as well. It's just for those that want to go all in and say like, hey, Laura, I know I need additional support so that I get myself to do this, or I really want your team to be involved in my business. That's for those people that say like, I want all in. Please give me all of the support. Yeah. Okay. I'm part of the membership and it's literally everything in there. I'm launching my first product right now. It's so exciting. Oh, Nicole, so happy to have you here. So happy. And you have a beautiful product. Very beautiful. Vicky's saying I'm interested in joining, but I missed day 1 and 2. Anyway, to see them before I purchase membership because I don't quite understand everything. Yes, you can still watch. They're available until tomorrow, so you can still watch them. Donna saying, that's a shame. I would like to use KDP to try and make enough to launch my physical book. I'm going to talk about a separate way where you can actually start pre-selling your product and already create the product and have a sample made. You can have a sample made for as little as like $100 to $200. And then with that sample, you can have photography done, and then you can already start selling it and then collect the funds with it. That way you can stay within the same niche. In KDP, to get lots of sales at the moment, it's usually not the same niches that you will go in with your physical product. So you would have to do a lot other niches. And what I've seen so far is that people that try to fund just through KDP, that it kind of throws them out of working on the physical product. And the physical product, that's where the biggest opportunity is, what I find. So I would do, if I was you and you would want to do both KDP and a physical product, I would do KDP on the side, but I would start with a physical product still and find a different way to fund it, like pre-sale. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later as well. Hey, Laura, just to clarify, we can learn some transferable knowledge for publishing in KDP with what you teach. Even though you focus on manufacturing approach to creating journals and banners. Yes, lots of the pieces do overlap. The only thing that does not overlap as much is the research portion when it comes to making a decision. KDP is like, if you look at the KDP journal, just the way the quality is and the photos on an Amazon page, and I can show you in a moment, it is a lot harder to compete than if you have like a really nicely manufactured product. Because of that, when you want to do KDP, you need to go for niches that are smaller. You need to go for like new emerging niches a lot more. So while the whole process is very similar in a way, like when it comes to the keywords, when it comes to creating the content, when it comes to creating a title, description, like there's lots of similarities. It's just that something that could be an amazing opportunity as a physical product might not be as great of an opportunity for KDP, and vice versa. So usually they're in different niches, but there's lots of overlap and similar tools. So in both cases, you can use Helium-10 to research. So there's lots and lots of overlap. Yeah. Okay, wonderful, good. So let's look at material. And before we get started, I need to ask my typical question, which is, are you a spiral girl or do you prefer hardbound? What do you prefer? Do you prefer spiral? Let me know in the comments. I would like to see what the crowd is preferring today, because there's always an interesting split. Who likes what? And I'm going to let you know what I prefer as well in a moment. But let's see. Do you prefer spiral or do you prefer hardbound? So far, we see hardbound, spiral, hardbound. Okay, we see a little bit of a preference. Spiral, okay. I like spiral, so it's already 50-50. Spiral, hardbound, spiral. Oh, I think spiral might be a little bit stronger today. Spiral. Interesting. So from what I can see so far, okay, Misty likes both. Depends on what project I'm working on. Spiral for daily planner spiral, for journals hardbound, covered spiral. Hey, that's the first time we got that comment. Covered spiral is really nice too. Yes, it depends on the publication. I love both. Awesome. Spiral. I don't like spiral. Here, wait. I don't like spiral as when you throw it in your handbag, it can scratch your phone because, okay, yes. Hardbound is more romantic though. It kind of is, yes. I agree with all what you ladies are saying when it comes to spiral can be a lot more practical sometimes. I find sometimes spiral can really be difficult when you're writing and then you have like the spiral. It's just like the hand is there. So I don't like that piece. I personally am a hardcover person. For almost everything, I would choose a hardcover. There's some occasions where I prefer a spiral, but very rarely. I usually always prefer hardcover. I find, for me personally, it's more practical and it's fancier. I don't know. I find that. But both can work very well. I sell both. I sell spiral and hardcover. I'm not left-handed. I'm actually right-handed. Even though, as I was making this with my hand, I was thinking, why am I doing it with the left hand? I'm actually right-handed. But I find that when you write and you have a spiral, it blocks you and it's uncomfortable to write. That's why I don't like spirals as much. That's like my main thing that I don't like about it. Other than that, I also prefer the look of a hardbound. Now, no matter if we do hardbound or if we do spiral, we do have the same choices when it comes to materials. You can have a beautiful faux leather or like a vegan leather spiral book as well with beautiful gold or silver spirals or black or white spirals. Like there's so many different colors as well that you can choose. Anything can be made fancy. Let's look at Amazon and let's get a bit of a sense for different materials that are being used. I find that, let's share the whole window because that's going to give us a little bit more reference when we're looking at these materials. So let's look at a prayer journal. And then I want to look at something else as well. Let's look at a productivity planner. And let's look for another thing. Productivity. Let's look for weight loss. Weight loss. Okay, so we have 3 different niches, and let's look at what are some of the materials that we see, that we find here. So here we have a bit of, they're trying to have, I think it's a faux linen look. We see quite a bit of spiral here with a, it looks like these are like paper. They don't look like this might be a faux leather. So a lot of them use like a hard, like a cardboard paper type of cover. I am not a fan of the cardboard paper cover. It costs almost the same, or actually in many cases it costs the same as just getting a faux leather cover done, and the perceived value is just a very different one. So I try to stay away from them because I find that they often have like this cheaper feel or look. Here are 2 of my clients actually. Here we have a faux linen. I find that this looks super fancy. Look at that. Different colors as well. This is a faux leather. I also find that this looks really, really fancy. We see her sales as well at the moment. Very popular. She has only launched early this year. And I think this looks so beautiful and fancy. So when we look at the material, she's chosen a faux leather with a little bit of texture. You can see that. A gold stamped logo. It also has a logo on the spine of the book. And then here it's like a linen cover. I think this is not even like a faux linen. This might be a actual linen cover. A faux linen and an actual linen, they feel very similar. Sometimes it can make sense to have a faux linen cover. So definitely looks really beautiful. If we compare this, why has she done well? If you look at what is out there otherwise, like even though she has a higher price, she sells really well, over 500 pieces a month. What do you think is that? Because the look gives an interesting and high perceived value as well. Also, a higher price has a higher perceived value, and her content is great. Like her product is truly worth it. If we look at a little bit of the content, look how beautiful it is. It's a wonderful, beautiful prayer journal. We scroll down here. I just want to really give you a little bit of an example of how beautiful this can be done. And it's her very first. She's never had a journal before. It's the very first she's ever created. And look how beautiful. And these photos were also created by a photographer that we recommend in the membership way. Because look at how beautiful this photography is as well. I think it just all looks elegant, right? It doesn't look cheap. Like you would imagine that this costs $30. I don't find that surprising. Like I would not find that surprising. And look how much people are loving it. And I love that, for her, that is her passion. Like she wanted to create a prayer journal because she loves to do prayer. She is into prayer journal. She wanted to have a prayer journal that she likes herself. And that's what we've done. Okay, let's continue. We have a few other ones here. I think this pretty nice too. But if it comes to material, we have a mix of lots of different things here. So here we have another prayer journal. This is a lot bigger. Here we see the spiral. We see it's a lot more colorful. So they've gone with color to stand out. It is also getting nice sales. It probably has a really good profit margin as well. It's a lot busier, it's heavier, it's really big. It's for a different group of people. Everyone has their own preference. That's why we want to create something that we resonate with ourselves, right? I just need to make sure, yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Sometimes I'm a little paranoid that I don't share my screen. So everyone's going to have a different preference. This works well. Also, this client of mine, hers works well as well. And she has like all these beautiful colors. And it is because people like different things, right? So this is a different approach, different design internally as well, but really pretty, very, very pretty. Okay, first niche. Let's look at this next niche. Here we go into productivity. We see a lot more darker colors. When we see a lot more darker colors, it is often related because we also have a male market and a strong male market. There's lots of black here, lots of like dark blues. We also see brighter colors here as well, but we notice that this is no longer a mostly female market, while prayer journal, we do see some darker versions, but most of it, if we like scroll through, it seems to have a little bit more of a feminine touch to it. Like this is very clear for men. There's some in between that probably as well, but we see a lot more bright colors in comparison to the productivity. It goes darker quite right away. Now, just because everyone else is doing something, does that mean that we need to do the same? No, it's good to stand out. It's good to have a pattern interrupt. If you see lots of your or most of your competitors having hardbound, it can make sense to have a spiral bound. If you see most of your competitors having a spiral, it can make sense to come in with a hardbound. You don't have to copy what others are doing. You actually shouldn't copy what others are doing because that's not truly something that is going to help you succeed. Always ask yourself, what is the type of design that you personally would go for? Do you like to have lots of flowers? Do you enjoy having lots of colors? Do you enjoy like glittery gold? Do you want it to be a lot more like natural colors? Do you want it to be like tans and like a tan color, like beige? Do you want it to be like very lively and bold? Do you prefer it to be minimalistic? You're allowed to just choose whatever you like because just like you like something, others will also. We don't have to copy everything else. There are some things where it's easier to hit the design. Minimalistic designs are easier to hit right than having like very busy designs, because when it comes to like having big patterns or like something that is not neutral in a way, there's a lot more possibilities that design doesn't hit. So that's something to be aware of. I probably would always tend to stick with more simple designs. They are more universal, but at the same time, you still want to do what you like the most, because you will see there's everything out there and everything has their place and everything works in a different way. Okay, so we have seen the productivity. Let's go to weight loss. Here in weight loss, we do see more spiral, I see. Well, we see a mix of spiral and a mix of hard covers. I don't see lots of like beautiful minimalistic approach. I see that all of them are pretty busy. That's something I personally, for example, wouldn't buy. Like I don't like when it's so busy. Or if it's something like this, to me, I can be a little bit snobby with the designs. I find this too childish. I don't like that. You know, and that's fine. You know, there will be other people that also like that minimalistic approach, and other people will be like, hey, why have a minimalistic approach? That's boring. I want to have something like this. right? And that, again, I'm repeating myself, but because it's so important, I so often get the question, what is the correct design? There is not really an answer to it. There's a lot of like, you do what you like the most. You can try, test it. Just if you have like very out of the ordinary designs, I would probably at least ask around a little bit if other people are also liking it. But other than that, there's room for lots of different designs, as we can see. Now, if I look at this here and I try to understand what the pattern is, so I see spiral ones. I also see hardbound ones. What approach would I take? So if I was going to create this type of product, I would most likely go for a faux leather. I would most likely not round the edges. They're all rounded, almost all. This one isn't. Like I probably would not round the edges because I want to have something that is a pattern interrupt. I would not use an elastic. I'm not a big fan of these elastics anyway. So I know many of them have these elastics, but I prefer one without elastics, without an elastic band. I would probably go more a minimalistic style. If I'm thinking of a design that I really like, it would be I love this brand. I would probably go for a minimalistic design. I would not have that big of a title. I would probably have a smaller text on the cover, but I would go for something like this, probably like a faux linen or a real linen, darker linen, probably something like that. Very minimalistic. That would be my approach. Now, we've been looking around on Amazon, but Pinterest is probably the best place to look. I love Pinterest because Pinterest has so many beautiful products that you don't find on Amazon. And usually on Pinterest, you find the prettier products. So I really, really like that. Let me see. How cool does this look? This looks really pretty. I'm just going to save this. I think this looks so beautiful. I love just scrolling through Pinterest and looking for things that I like. Now, this is a totally different product, but how beautiful is this stand as well for affirmation card? Let's save this. And I love just going around Pinterest and saving a bunch of different things that I find inspiring. Look, imagine you have a beautiful affirmation card deck with like a beautiful little, like, let's say it's like a manifestation card deck with like a little manifestation candle. How beautiful does this look? Really beautiful. Saving. Yeah, this design. Look, really cool. Lots of the prettier stuff is not available on Amazon many times. Like you can get such amazing inspiration from Pinterest and look on Amazon and not see that beautiful stuff out there. Like, okay, this is a calendar, but imagine there being like an affirmation card. That would be pretty, I think. I think that would be pretty. Or there would be like a goal, like my goals. Imagine putting it on my desk, right? We can be very creative with our ideas. And I find being creative can also just come by looking at other ideas and see how you can adapt them. How can you make a fusion? Like you might see a calendar, you might see something like this and think of like, how can I make this for a weekly planner? Or how can I make this for something else? Like you can always fusion things and have this way really beautiful ideas. I love this for materials. I love this for inspiration. And when I look here for material or cover ideas, so now I'm not seeing as many planners because let's look for journal. So if I see journals here, now Pinterest already knows my style. So you see like most of these covers are minimalistic linen covers. Because Pinterest algorithm is pretty powerful. It starts really knowing what you like. So I already see things that I like. Like I think this is pretty cool, you know, with like a different texture to it. This is like a faux leather one with a bit of a cushioning in there, which can feel like really beautiful when you have a journal with some cushioning. Like it has like a soft feeling to it, which can be really nice. I find, however, this can sometimes cheapen a little bit the perceived value. Like I find things like this can often have a higher perceived value because they look more classic. But yeah, look, this type of style is something that I would really like. Like I like this type of linen. Okay, now I'm showing you what I like, just sharing you a little bit of how I approach this. Now you want to do exactly the same thing. Get yourself on Pinterest. And if you've done the homework yesterday, you would have already done this. Get yourself on Pinterest, create boards, start creating boards for your new product, for a brand idea that you have. And you want to really get clearer on what it is that you like. Because if you got clearer on like what the style is that you want to be going for, let's say this is the type of brand that you want to be developing, then when we go and look at the materials that we have as a possibility, and usually this is one of, I think, 4 or 5 of these that I have. I have many of these. I want to show you one. I'm just going to make some space. Do you see? Basically a catalog with all sorts of colors and little pieces that you can touch, you can look, you can see the color, you can see the texture, you can feel it. And this is how I choose different colors. As we were creating the samples for this new project, this one here, the way I chose this one here is by just going through this file and choosing the color that I felt matched well the design that we wanted to go for. We looked at how it feels, how it looks, how the contrast would be. So we have like a white stamping we've done here. You see, like it, they stamp the name in here. Do you see that? It is a little bit like you can feel it. It goes down a little bit. And we did that by looking through this file. So when you collaborate with a manufacturer, they will not always send you these files because there are so many. If you have lots of projects you're creating, then you can ask for one of these catalogs and they will send you one. But usually what they do is you can give the manufacturer a few style references. So you can send them your Pinterest board and show them like a few of the colors that you like and what Arkin will do, or if you work with Angie, or if you work, these are the names of different manufacturers. If you work with them, what they will do, it will just take photos and videos for you and they will send it to you. There's also the possibility of choosing a material and then having it fully being printed, right? Full printing on them. Full color, there's like lots of different possibilities. And there's also different textures. There's like the leather with like a rougher texture, more like a calf leather. And then there's like the really soft finishing, like a smooth finishing. And you can also have like a crocodile look to it. You can have like any type of regular leather, but this is just PU leather. So it's basically non-animal vegan, basically leather. Now, this is the cover because we want to choose a few different materials, right? If we look at our product in front of us, like what are the different materials that we need? We need the cover material, right? The outside cover material. We want to be thinking of accessories. One of the accessories that I tend to like to add are these ribbons. And here for these type of ribbons, there are also these catalogs, and you can choose whatever ribbon you want. The manufacturer will send you photos of different ribbons in different colors. They are available in different colors and in different textures. If you go through your journals that you have at home, you will also notice that there are different types of ribbons. Do you see? I'm not sure how close I can show this, but this has a little bit of a different texture than this one. I often go for these ones here. I find that they look pretty nice. Another one that I like a lot is this one here. Can you see this close by? This is very small to really show the difference. But you can always ask for ribbon samples as well. As you're getting samples from the manufacturer, they can just send you a few snippets of different ribbons home, and then you can touch them, look at them, and you can always choose whatever ribbon you like the most. These little ribbons, they will make almost no difference to the price. That might be between 3 and 6 cents that you pay extra for the whole book, but the perceived value is a lot more. Like it adds the perceived value. It makes sense to invest into that. Another thing that you get to choose when you create a cover, and something that you can think of, is how do you want the text to be on the cover? Here, this is embossed, so it's a bit more discreet. You can actually not read it on the screen. I can read it here. Here I have a bullet journal. This is quite dirty actually, because I had something sticking on this before. This is debossed, so it goes up, so you can feel the bullet journal when you touch it, because it goes up. And here it goes down. You cannot see it too well, but I'm pretty sure you've seen that already in books. My preferred go-to is having stamping done, and I like gold stamping. And the manufacturer will also give you lots of different gold stamping, gold foil stamping, and then also you have other colors, right? You have silver, purple, green, blue, white, all the colors, whatever you can think of. Do you see this? Glittery, all of it is possible. Anything that you can see somewhere else, you can also make it possible, especially with the manufacturers that we share. One of the manufacturers that I share with you is the very biggest in the whole country. And they create, or they have the capacity to create 230,000 journals per day. When we went to their factory, it took us more than 2 hours just to walk through the factory and see all the different machines. It was freaking insane. It was so cool. And it is privately owned by a very humble man that has created this 40 years ago, and he is still always in the front of any fair. He will be there wearing the sales shirts just like any other sales representative, but he's actually the owner of this like $150 million business, and he will be there from morning to evening because he lives and breathes creation of journals, and they only specialize in journals, and that's all that they do. And they're very passionate about it. They're very passionate about the quality. They're very passionate about the machines. They constantly reinvest. And these manufacturers, they can create anything. And if you look at any big brand out there as well, you go to Barnes & Noble, the biggest players are produced by them as well. It's not very easy to get started with them if you don't have a contact in, because they usually don't start with beginners. We are very fortunate that through our collaboration and our time that we've worked together, they are very open to take any beginners in that come through me, that understand the process, and they can create everything. You can go to Barnes & Noble, look through the journals and planners, and see something that inspires you. Take your phone out, take some photos, and say like, hey, when you talk to them, you say like, hey, do you see how they've created this cover? I like this cover, but I like how they've put this on that. Do you also have the same type of pocket? Like, there are all sorts of different topics, pocket types. You see something, they can do it. And I love that because it gives you full freedom to do whatever you want. Of course, we want to do that within reason, because there's no point in creating a product it's getting more and more expensive because you're adding accessories and accessories and accessories that are expensive and don't make a lot of sense. So return on investment is still very important, and something we discussed in the first day, that we want to be looking at a return on investment of at least 200%. And in order to get that return on investment of at least 200%, we need to roughly know what the product is going to cost us, and we need to be looking at the things that we can add to our product that have a good perceived value for the client, but give us still the biggest bang for our buck. Sometimes when there is like some unconscious self-sabotage happening and we want to be successful, but in a way we kind of find our way to still like get lots of sales, but at the same time make it so expensive that we don't have profit. This is not going to be a business that works. Like, it is important to talk about profit and to be focused on getting profits. And I know that especially for us women, that can be sometimes a little bit difficult, because I think that from a society point of view, like, we're so trained to do things to serve everyone else without gaining something in return. The problem is you're not going to be able to have the impact on the world that you desire to have if your business has no profit. If your business has no profit, it's going to be gone faster than it was created. Now, in order to have a very profitable business, and this type of product can be extremely profitable, and you want to make that very profitable. You don't want to say like, well, if I make $2 less per product, doesn't really matter. I want to add all of these extra features. No, it does matter. We are going to add like beautiful things, but we're not going to go overboard. We can add beautiful things that add perceived value by it having a nice ribbon, choosing beautiful colors, beautiful textures for our covers, thinking of beautiful designs that we can have printed on it. And the most important part is still the content. We are going to give out our impact through the content. Let it be profitable. It is really important. And I talk so much about profit because it truly is what is going to make the big difference in the end of the day, and going to help you have an impact on others and also have an impact on yourself and your family. Having a business that you love and that is going to give you financial freedom, financial stability. That's so important, you know. Our own needs are also very important. It's not just, creating a business for the sake of the business. Very, very important. Return on investment of 200, that's incredible. Yes. I aim for a profit margin of 35%. That's what I aim for. The reason why I aim for so much is, and it is actually not very common, right? Like what is very common in the e-commerce space, especially if you have like a high 6-figure or 7-figure or multi-7-figure business, it is very common to have like 10-15% profit margin at that point. I still aim for 30% or higher because I do this self-funded. I don't have investors. I don't have anything else. And I want this business to always be thriving and growing. And if you go for like a return on investment of 100% or less, it can just take very little from being profitable to suddenly not being profitable anymore. And I really think that wiggle room is so important. It also allows us to invest in new products and grow that business with more products and more things that we can create. And this product is so special exactly for that reason. Stationery products are any product that is printed and where the product is not the printed thing, but actually the content. So in this case, people are not buying a blank paper book. People are buying the content. They're buying the transformation with any type of guided journal, guided planner, affirmation card deck, organizational tool, productivity tool. People are not buying just sheets of paper. They are buying, of course, the materials still. They want to have a nice experience, but they want to have the transformation through the content. So the content is what we truly are selling, and that's where the value is coming in. That's where the high return on investment comes in, because that's what we are truly in. We actually are in a almost like service. It's almost like a service business, but actually it's a product business. So yeah. Okay, yes, and we are not selling these. I saw this question. We are not going to sell them on Amazon or so. These are actually just for our clients, and we gifted them to our clients that came with us to China. And we're still working on this. We might create this for members in the future, because this includes the whole process of our membership as well, of the creation of a product. So basically, it guides you through finding your audience, developing the product, thinking of the problem, solutions, and so on. So it's basically the process plus action plans. Yeah. Someone's asking if Emma is part of the company. Yes, Emma is part of the company. I would not be able to do what I do without Emma. Emma is also part of the community in the membership portal. Do you ladies have any questions around materials so far? I shared one of the materials I didn't share. These are like elastic bands, just to show you how you can select elastic bands. And they're also available in all sorts of colors. And they're also available in all sorts of different like thicknesses. So these are just one thickness. I actually don't know which one of them it is. I think this probably is 6 millimeters. Yeah, 6 millimeters. So lots of different elastic bands here as well. Lots of people love elastic bands. So yeah. Okay, ladies, let me know what are the questions and what are some of the materials that you would choose for your product. Have you found some inspiration through what we shared today? Is there anything that you would like to create for your product, and why is it? I would love that. Are these sample books from the same manufacturer of multiple ones? So the sample books, so each manufacturer, they collaborate with different external manufacturers. So this manufacturer is just a manufacturer that creates like these foils. Then this manufacturer is just a manufacturer that creates elastic. That's all that they do. And this one here creates like these PU leathers. Now, all the different manufacturers that we work with, they tend to have partnerships with these different manufacturers. So all of them can create with the same type of material. So I got that from one manufacturer, but I can also, when I talk with a different manufacturer, I can use exactly the same catalog because they tend to use the same catalogs and they tend to get the same material suppliers. Yeah. There's a question. Is there a difference in price for paper colors? Not necessarily, it's the same price. What makes a difference with paper is the weight, is the thickness of the paper. I personally like 100 grams per meter at a minimum. I find that that is a lot more, it feels like higher quality. I don't like when the paper is too thin. I think a thin paper in a journal can very quickly cheapen it. And I rather pay a bit extra and have like nice thick paper. And I also prefer cream colored paper because I find that that can look fancier, but that's just a personal preference for me. Does ISC take out of the overwhelm and therefore disappointment and choice out of the material section if you are in the minimum of 5K setup? Yeah, you can always jump on a call and we can go through it together. I guess to make it your own, you would want to have a direction. I also find it helpful, instead of going through a catalog, actually just to have your own Pinterest or inspiration board. It can also be a Canva board with the things that you like. Send it to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer will only show you materials that match exactly that. We have calls with the manufacturers. They can specifically help you with that. So definitely the membership helps. You're not alone in selection, and also you get good feedback to understand like what selection would make more sense for what reason. Wipeable covers. PU leather is wipeable as well. How are these ribbons or these elastics attached? How well do they hold over time? I hate for them to pull out after 6 months of use. I find that they hold very well. I have lots of my planners that I have behind me I've had for a long time, and no problem. I have not gotten the feedback that someone has pulled out the ribbon. I've not had any feedback from clients either. So they last very, very well. The manufacturers we work with, they have better quality than others. Like there's definitely different types of quality grades, I would say. And I've worked before in the past with manufacturers where their quality was just not as great. And that's just noticeable. Their quality is really good. Do they give away the catalog for free? Yes. If you buy, like if you order more products and you feel like you need a catalog, yeah, that's for sure. We have the catalogs at home because we do a lot of like products, or we have done over the years. Like this catalog is already older, it's from 2021, But over the last few years, we've done lots of done-for-you services where we've created products for others. We've done done-with-you services where we've created. So we've worked with over 22 different businesses to create stationery products with. So we needed that at home. Sometimes it will not, won't need it at home. It might be just overwhelming to have so much. It might be just better to have a little bit of a direction of what colors you like, and then have the manufacturer suggest for you. How many GSM does KDP provide? I actually don't know, but I think it's 80 GSM. Brenda's saying, I love the hardcover with linen fabric. Yes, I love that too. I think it looks so beautiful. I like cream color paper too. I like good paper too because I use fountain pens. Yeah, that's so important. You don't want any bleed throughs either. Currently, I'm hand making my journals. Oh, that's so cool. I've never made that. I've never done something like that, but that's really cool. Something very important as well, that it can lay flat. There's nothing more uncomfortable than having a journal that you can barely write in it because it's just like so tight. So that's also very important. Brenda, you prefer 100-gram paper. Do you have a specific printer that you use for that weight paper? The manufacturer, like I would just let my manufacturer know that this is the type of paper that I prefer, and they will then do that for me. I know which type of paper I want to have because I've seen lots of thinner paper, and I've noticed that I don't like the thinner paper. And I've noticed that I like 100 or 120 is my preferred GSM. So how many journals do you order per launch? For a new client, I recommend having 1,000 to start with. Unless you're launching in November, then I would definitely say start with 1,500 or 2,000 even, because at that time you will otherwise run out of stock immediately. There's some topics where you could even start with more. I prefer for the first order to be less, just in case you want to change something. Usually after the first 1,000 orders, you will find things that you want to slightly change in your product, and then you can have the next order be a bigger one. I also find that having 1,000 pieces is a nice balance, because at 1,000 pieces you get really good pricing. For 500 pieces, you almost pay exactly the same as you would for 1,000 pieces, so might as well get 1,000 pieces. At this point of time, when I have a new launch, I'm getting a few more pieces. Like my latest launch has been a shadow work journal that I launched a couple of months ago, and there I got 5,000 pieces because I was very confident in that choice, and I was like, okay, no. And I got a much better price as well for 5,000 pieces, so it totally made sense. Yeah. Can you give a time frame Can you give a time frame from start to product ready to Amazon warehouse for the first time product? Okay, so that is depend. There's lots of like depends. Let's see, maybe I can share my screen of my Remarkable. It makes it more visual and easier, I think, to explain time frames. Just give me one sec. And I will share. Okay. Okay, so let me just share this then. Present, share screen. And then I will accept it here, and then I'll just share my screen. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So when we create a product, there are a few different steps that come into it. The very first step is going to be you need the idea validated. Validated. This can take roughly, I mean, this can take as long as you want, of course, but I think in 1 week you should be able to have that done. Then you want to outline and create your content. That depends on you. This can take anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. Weeks for content. Then we have that can also include design. Sometimes you will need extra time for design, so you can calculate with 2 extra weeks. At this point of time, you have your product ready for your first sample. So the next step is getting your sample. Once you have your sample, that usually takes between a week and 10 days to get your first sample in. So let's say 10 days, you have your first sample, you decide if it's ready. If there's nothing else that you need to change, at this point, you can just say, okay, we are happy, let's go. And then it takes anywhere from 15 to 35-ish days to get your product created, production. And then the next step is it being shipped to Amazon. And also you want to have an inspection. Inspection is very important. We share how that is done also in the membership. Don't worry about it. It costs a little bit more than $100. You basically have a company visit the manufacturer. They will go through all the boxes. They will pick a few out, a few samples, and they will check for quality and if there are any mistakes. Also, the manufacturer, there are humans in there. Everywhere where humans are involved, mistakes can happen. You want to avoid any mistakes before the products leave the manufacturer. In case there's any mistakes, the manufacturer can just fix it for you and make sure that everything is great. I always get an inspection done. That takes just a couple of days extra. Very important. Then you have the shipping. When it comes to shipping, I tend to do 2 things. I ship just a few pieces per air, and that takes roughly a week, 1 week. And then I ship the rest via sea, like a boat, basically, like this. It goes in the ocean. Oh gosh. And that can take anywhere between 30 and 50 days. So the longest that it will take is really the shipping. Now, if you want to be in for Q4, you need to create this pretty quickly. And for the whole thing, if we calculate everything together, 2 months here, 2 months, it's roughly 4 months. If you do things pretty quickly, then you have roughly 4 months, 3.5, 4 months. You can get this done. The intense cohort is to get the samples done quickly, to get this content and design done and fast. Basically have a sprint, not a marathon. Yeah. If you do a sprint, you can have that in 4 months. You can have your first product already and I like to send a few ahead of time to get some reviews in already. So important. Getting reviews, and then the rest, by the time the rest comes into Amazon, then you already have reviews. You can go in all in and then get your launch out, and products will be selling a lot faster. So yeah, this is roughly the time frame. My husband put his coffee cup on top of my favorite journal. The other day, I nearly strangled him. I can understand that. Okay, interesting that you create your own journals. I really think that's really cool. I would be scared to have 1,000 pieces for not all of them to sell. Okay, now this is a very good question, and let's look at this. The idea validation piece is so important. And it's also something that you can always get help with in the membership. Idea validation is so important. For a product not to sell once it's validated with a process that we do, highly unlikely. What can happen is, worst case scenario, that it sells slower. And that can suck, but I think this is something that is okay. As long as you can still sell it, it's fine. But that can happen, that it sells slower. If you feel unsure, or if you feel very tight on cash, or if you feel like, oof, this is putting me in a stressful situation. Oh, hold on, why is this not sharing the new screen that I'm using? Ah, now it is. Okay. So idea validation, very important, very highly unlikely that it will not sell. It will just sell slower. What you can do is you can do a pre-sale. To do a pre-sale, basically what you do the same process. You do have your idea validated, and you design it, you create the content and so on, and you do it until the sample. Once you have the sample, that's when you start selling it. And you either start selling it maybe on social media. You could be selling it through a website. You can just not resell it on Amazon. That's just not possible. But you can do that once you collect the sales from the customer. This is very important. You need to very openly disclose that this is a pre-sale and that your clients are going to get their products just 3 months later or so, right? Like, you need to be very open in your communication so that it doesn't backfire. But I think if you're very open in communicating it, that helps a lot. Oh, it's still not sharing my screen properly. Let's see. Is it sharing now? Now it is. Okay. Not sure why it doesn't share my. Okay. Now it is sharing my screen, I think. There's another page where you can also do that, which is Kickstarter. It's also a place where you can pre-sell it. Some of the most famous journals, like the Passion Planner, like Big Life Planner, or Big Life Journal. There are a few other ones. They're like really big players that became multi-7-figure journal brands. Started with Kickstarter, actually. They started with a sample, created videos and photos, promoted it through Kickstarter, got lots of people buying it. And once they got the sales, that's when they contact the manufacturer and say, hey, good news, now we're ready to order, I don't know, 3,000 pieces because I already sold so many. And then the shipping company, and it's also a shipping company that we can connect you with, they can then basically ship all these orders to the people that have bought it directly from China. This is also a possibility if you feel like, hey, my budget is tighter, I'm nervous about this. These are also ways that you can go about it. But I want to give you some, how can I best say it? Like, I want to give you some reassurance that if you do the idea validation piece, and the idea validation basically is what we talked about on the first day. We need to know if there's demand on Amazon, if you want to sell on Amazon, and you want to see if there's already some supply. We want to make sure that the supply is not too aggressive, so no sharks. We want to make sure it's not too many. And we want to make sure that it's not like super cheap price. Like if all your competitors are selling for like $3 to $5, then that's not something that you want to go into, right? So you want to make sure that the supply that's out there is okay. If you only have one competitor, that can already be a good sign. You don't need to have 10 different competitors. If you have one competitor that's doing well, you know that there's demand. Then you already have a confirmation that there is a market out there. You want to be a little bit different to your competitors. You want to still have your own way of adding unique value to the market, and that can be by a different design, different approach, different binding. You know, if all your competitors have hardcover, you can do spiral, the other way around as well. If all the competitors have lots of flowers on it, maybe you want to go for a more minimalistic approach. If you see all of your competitors are more minimalistic, maybe you want to have like a little bit more flowers, more something more playful. There's always a way to stand out in the market, and that's something that you want to make sure. But if you do that, and we have approaches for this, and you validate your idea that your product won't sell, I would find that very unlikely. Selling slower, that can happen. But I think that's a worst case scenario that is not even that bad. So yeah. Yes, shadow work journals are very popular. I had a little bit of a mishap, unfortunately, last month. I had my Amazon account was shut down. Before that shutdown, I had already 400 sales a month with my new shadow work journal, which just launched. But my shadow work journal, I can show you, it has been live again, just for, I think, a little bit over a week or so. Let me show you. And it's already starting to pick up sales again. And I'm very happy about it. I was really bummed that for roughly 3 weeks, it was down. This is, by the way, not very common for this to happen. I was just a bit unlucky in this situation. Shadow work journal. Let me show you. There it is. This is my shadow work journal. So launched it in April. Got lots of really great reviews. I really love this product. It's my favorite product. But do you see it only went live again on here on 13th? So exactly 2 weeks ago. But my ranking is now really getting good again. Here went because it was unavailable for a month almost. Yeah. But now it's already in the last 2 weeks, it's already starting to pick up sales. So this is slightly under reporting. It's at 100 sales at the moment for the last 2 weeks. So it's already picked up. And then I think probably in the next 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks, it's going to be again at 400 sales a month. And then hopefully like my goal is to work this up more and have it be at like 800 sales a month or more very soon. But yeah, you know, these things as entrepreneurs, that also happens. It's also part of the process of just handling these situations, not reacting too emotionally, finding a solution, and then getting out there and continuing. But yeah, this is one of my latest launches, and I'm very, very happy about this one. Where do you store so many journals? I store all my journals in a warehouse in the US and with Amazon. At the beginning, when you get started, you can just store everything with Amazon. You don't need a warehouse. The thing is that because my business grew very quickly, when I order new products, I sometimes order 8, 9 tons. So like I order 40,000 pieces in one go, or 20,000 pieces in one go. So I don't ship all of those pieces directly to Amazon. I have a warehouse also where I have some in between, and then I ship them to Amazon. as well. When you're getting started and you have like up to your first 5,000 pieces, you can ship directly to Amazon. There's no problem with that. Yeah. 50-50 spiral or hardcover lovers. Yes, exactly. Roughly how much will 1,000 pieces cost from sample manufacturing all the way to shipping? Roughly $5,000, roughly. It depends on a few different factors, of course, size of your journal planner, materials that you choose, how many pages you choose. That all plays a role. They're like standard size, like an A5 size, which would be this one. This is a standard printing size. It has similarities to 6x9, but this size is a lot more affordable because it's an international standard size, while 6x9 is more like an American size. So I would stay away from the purely American sizes and go for standard international sizes. That's when you save a lot. And then you can get a beautiful journal planner created for as little as $3, depending on how many pieces, sometimes even less. Yeah. In China, they closed down for Chinese New Year. How can we not get affected with this closed down period, which is quite long? Yes, it is. You will have to order ahead of time in order to not be affected. That's the only way that you can do getting more stock. So Chinese New Year is usually around February, and that leads to a shutdown of factories. We have one big manufacturer that does not close down. They are still manufacturing throughout Chinese New Year, but the shipping companies and most businesses in China will be closed. So no matter if your manufacturer produces during Chinese New Year or not, you will still be affected by it. So it's good to plan ahead of time. And for that, you need to make your order by end of December or early January. So that means if you're launching in November, you're seeing sales are picking up. By end of December, you want to be already reordering the next batch or early January latest, so that you still get your products before Chinese New Year, so you won't be affected by it. Very good question. Thank you, Bina. Why are samples so expensive? $200, I think you said. Because there's lots of manual labor that goes into it. They need to set up the machines for us just to create one single piece. So that usually does cost. They will refund you that money, however, when you make an order. So as soon as you make your actual order, you get that $200 back. And the $200 also includes shipping. So they ship it via FedEx. That's also very expensive, but you get it if they ship it on a Monday in China, you will most likely already have it by a Thursday or Friday. So it's very fast as well. And that's also a reason why it costs more. You can't see the bottom of your iPad. Oh yeah, earlier you couldn't see. Yeah. It was, sorry. Yes. What was number 5? Oh, sorry. I seem to be really far behind in the comment section. Sorry. So that was the earlier thing I was showing. Oh, I'm really sorry. Let me just remove this and make sure I share this again. So number 5 was shipping, and I divided it into shipping via air, and shipping via sea. So this is what I was looking at. So if you start soon, you can get all your stuff landed way before that. Yes, the faster you are, the better it is going to be for you, and the more you get out of Q4. Q4 can be such a phenomenal time to launch. And it's also very exciting to have your first month be a pretty high selling month already. It can give you a really good boost. What inspection fee cost? Inspection fee costs are roughly $100. I start at $100. Depends like how many samples you want them to look at. It's up to like $180 That's like the highest tier. Okay, so these are okay. With an initial print run of 1,000, at what point to reorder to ensure not interruption of availability on Amazon? Yvonne, very good question, and this can be a little bit of a tricky one. So it means that you have to actually reorder very quickly, because it can take up to 2.5 months to receive your next inventory, right? Now the way you want to do it, let me see if I can share it. Okay. So what you want to do is you receive your 1,000 pieces. Out of the 1,000 pieces, there will be some pieces going out for reviews. So there's automatically roughly 30 to 50 pieces just going out for free for reviews. And then the rest of the pieces, the initial ones are going to help you to rank, and then you're going to start selling. At some point, you're going to notice, wow, I'm starting to sell 5 pieces a day. Oh, I'm starting to sell 10 pieces a day. When you notice that that's what's happening, you need to start looking at how many pieces do you have left. If you're selling 10 a day, that's roughly 300 a month. You only have stock for 3 months. Now, as soon as you get to selling at that velocity, you need to immediately reorder so that you can have more stock in time. Also, if you notice that there's not lots that you want to change, you might also want to order like already 2,000 pieces. So as your business is growing, as you're getting to sell 500 pieces a month or even more, so you're not scrambling all the time to get new stock in. So that's where you would order more. And the more you order, the cheaper your products get, the cheaper your shipping also gets. So your profit margins are higher at that point as well. And your cost per piece goes significantly down. Your shipping cost goes significantly down as well. How much? Okay, so sample, we want to budget in the time, the cost of the sample, which is roughly $200, and $200. In most cases, some will be less. Very rarely it will be more, but usually it will be less. So $200. What do you need in order to create a sample? So in order to create a sample, you need to have a logo, you need to have content, you need to have the design created. You also need to have a trademark check. The trademark check can be for free, so you don't need to worry about that. That's for free. Logo content is also for free. That's something you can do. Then you need a logo and you need the design. In theory, if you're really, really good in Canva, you can do it on your own. We, however, suggest working with a designer. Now, working with a designer, it's going to depend on the designer. There are lots of different levels of costs there. But definitely a few $100s is what you need to invest into it as well for the design, if you want to do it through a designer, which I think is highly recommendable. Another way, if you want to start with a lower budget, you can also start with a product that costs less. There's like these productivity sheets. There are like these notepads for different topics that cost per piece. They can cost between like 30 cents to like $1. You can start this then with a lot lower budget as well. So there are other alternatives to getting your feet into a stationery brand as well. I personally like this way, already focusing on your winner product, getting the samples, and then pre-selling would be the way that I personally prefer. But you can always also go for a simpler product. That's actually something that I have also done. I started with a habit tracker. that habit tracker had like a simple spiral. It was like a calendar, and it cost me less than $1 to make. And for that, I had very low investment for my first. I'm not sure if I ordered 1,000 or 1,500 pieces. I can't fully recall how many I ordered, but I remember that my investment wasn't that high, and I was selling it for $14.99. It came with a free course that I included with a QR code to have a higher perceived value as well. And that worked really well. It was very profitable, and that also gave me funds to do more later on. So you can also start with simpler products. That's also a way that I've done it. How do I clean up? Perfect. Am I not sharing my screen? Yeah, I am. Okay, this is also an earlier comment. Sorry, I'm so far away. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm seeing all these comments from earlier. I'm really far behind with the comments. Sorry. Now I'm here. Okay, Brenda's asking. So if we decide to join the sprint with you, it would be 5K for the cohort plus 5K for the product. Yes, that would be roughly what you would be calculating with. Exactly. Can we see your new journal? We didn't get to see it. Oh, is that the point where I didn't share my screen? My goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm often so paranoid that I don't share my screen, and in the moment where I'm actually not sharing my screen, I'm not noticing it. Okay, let me share my my journal. Super sorry. I didn't notice that I didn't share it earlier. So this is my journal. What I was showing you earlier is that, unfortunately, my journal was unavailable for a few weeks. And I was selling really, really well. And then my sales went down because I had 0 sales because Amazon was not selling my product. There was a little bit of a hiccup. I was able to solve this. And now, look, it came back to the market again on the 13th of June. And it started getting sales right away. Look how my rank went and improved very quickly. And then now in the last, I suppose, 13 days, I sold almost 100 pieces. I'm more at 100. This is slightly underreporting. So I'm at 100 pieces, which is not like great, big yet, but I'm very happy because this product was down for that time being, and now it is live again. And if you look at the ranking, it's going further down and down. And I think it's most likely going to get to 400 sales again very quickly in the next couple weeks. That's basically what I was sharing earlier. And this is the product. It's a shadow work journal. It's my latest launched it April, so basically roughly 2 months ago. It follows the work of Carl Jung. And it's a personal development tool that helps you uncover things that are unconscious and patterns that you have, maybe ways that one sabotages oneself. And yeah, I love this product. It's probably my favorite product. And it's available in 2 different colors. And I'm so happy how well received it is as well. We've got 88 reviews already and very positive reviews. I'm very proud of that, very happy of it as well. Because I was, anytime when you launch your own product, you're always going to have a little bit of that sense of nervousness. How are people going to perceive it? And that's part of a creative process. But I'm very, very, very happy about this one. So that was what I was sharing earlier. And at some point, you're going to be scrolling through Amazon and seeing your product and feel that. It's a very beautiful feeling, seeing something that you had in your mind, what was originally idea, and then see it come alive I can not describe it. You have to experience it to feel it. And that is a unbelievable moment. And I think nothing will ever beat the feeling of course, your first time seeing a product live on Amazon. Another thing that will not beat the feeling, I think, is receiving your first sample. When I have a new product that I've created, and I know that the sample is on my way, I usually get like a text message from FedEx, like, oh, we're going to come today. I'm like, ah. And then the door rings. I run to the door. I open the door. The FedEx guy is there. I quickly sign. I take the package. I immediately open it and take my sample out. And that is just such a magical moment each time. Like, I'm like, I feel like a little teenage girl. I feel like so excited. I'm like, oh my God, it's live, it's here, it's real. And it doesn't matter how many products I've done in the past. I still feel this feeling because it's just a very magical feeling. And I'm very excited for you to feel that too when you create your very own product. It's really cool. Very cool feeling. Okay. So that was my product. Here's a question, Misty. You stated that you give 30 away for reviews. Do you find people that review for you? Amazon has a service. It's called Vine, and they will give it to their testers. So if you have a very new Amazon account, your first 30 reviews are for free. And afterwards, if you have more than one color, so I have more than one color. I have 2 colors for the shadow work journal, for example. So I was able to give away 60 and get up to 60 reviews, which is really, getting reviews makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. Have you found that the quality of what gets printed with KDP is much lower? Yes, it is much lower. And it's also one of the reasons I want to do physical products, because I looked at myself like, what type of product would I want to buy? And it is a physical product. So for that reason, I definitely think going the way of pre-selling the product can be a nicer way of doing KDP. Like, of course, I've done KDP as well. And I appreciate KDP a lot and I really love it. It's just that now over the years, this year I've come to the conclusion that there is lots more opportunity in the physical product space for what I want to do, for the goals that I want to achieve. And that's why I've been transitioning away from it. Elizabeth, so what I was saying is that I had a habit tracker and I added a QR code, and that QR code led people to a very simple online course. It was a faceless online course around habits, very simple one. And that was like an added perceived value. So in the Amazon listing, I put in that it comes with a free course, and then people, paid $14.99 to get the habit tracker, and then also they could access the course. Surprisingly, a lot of people actually they buy it and they don't actually then end up scanning the code, which I was very surprised by, but it still had, I suppose, a psychological effect of people wanting to buy it still, but yeah. How long does Amazon take to release funds? It takes roughly, it's not that easy to answer this question. Between 2 weeks and a month. That's when you get the funds. It depends on when they shipped it. They ship the product, and they have something that's called a reserve. So they would keep the money in just in case that there are refunds. I like to calculate with like roughly 30 days. And then later on, as you've been doing this for a longer time, you also have the possibility of connecting it with third-party providers. So I don't want to wait the 30 days to get my funds. So I have a third-party provider. And there are like lots of different providers that do that, that give you the funds ahead of time. So I can if I get the orders, the next day I have 80% of those orders in my account, and I can just pay myself that out. It makes a very big difference with cash flow. So this is something that can be done. I use payability. That's the name of it. It's interesting that the secular world called, I'm not quite sure what that means. Secular world calls the shadow work, and the Christian world calls it sanctification. I'm not so familiar with it. I'm actually not quite sure. So I guess that in the Christian world, there's also something similar to shadow work. Yeah, I think there are different groups of people calling it differently. So shadow work is also something that lots of people use in the spiritual realm. Like I'm not even meaning like the Christian spiritual, like I'm meaning more like people that are into like spirituality from like the universe type of direction. My journal, however, is from a psychological point of view. So I'm just purely following the work of Professor Carl Jung, which was Swiss psychiatrist, and he developed this this concept that we all have a shadow self. And with shadow self doesn't mean like we have like an evil self. It just basically means that there are parts of ourselves that are patterns that we're just not aware of. And that is our shadow. It is not within our awareness. And anything that there can be so many things that are not within our awareness, especially when we feel triggered or when we feel things. And I find this work very interesting. And I find personally this can be very important work also when you develop your business, to become more and more aware of the patterns that you have. Because when you're aware of them, that's when you can change them, and then you can get unstuck as well. Okay. If you print through KDP, it takes 60 days. Yeah, KDP takes 60 days to pay you out. Amazon takes less than 30 days to pay you out. So it's different. The KDP and regular Amazon selling are totally different platforms. In the end of the day, you both sell on Amazon, but the platforms where you are as a business owner are totally separate ones. Fiona saying, I'm a Christian, but would still be interested in your shadow workbook. I think my shadow workbook definitely works. It is very neutral. It has no relation to religion. So no matter what religion you would be in, I think there would be absolutely no conflict whatsoever, because it's really just a psychological tool and looking at it from like psychological way. And there's no spirituality added into it. Okay, from what I understand, we need to start ASAP for Q4 2024, and we may be at risk of not being ready according to this time frame. What do you think, and do you have any other suggestions? Well, I have a few different thoughts. Like, I think if you get started ASAP, no matter if you make it to a November launch, or if you make it to a December launch, or even if you make it to a January launch, your product is going to be launched, and that's going to be worth it, because Q4 is amazing. Of course it is amazing, but even if you launch in February, you're still going to have a phenomenal start into your business. I believe getting started ASAP is always going to benefit you. And ideally, of course, you could get into Q4. If you want to do Q4, just set yourself a deadline and say, like, you know what, this is what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm putting this in my calendar. I want to have this product out by Q4, and that's it. If anything doesn't work out or there's any delays, you don't want to white knuckle a product out, because we don't want to have like any issues with the product. We don't want to have like any major spelling mistakes or anything. Like, you want to have the time to make sure that the quality is great, of course. So white knuckling is not something that we do. Sprinting is something that we do, and you can create beautiful products with a nice sprint and get them out there. But yeah, getting it out there, no matter if it ends up being December, or even if it ends up being January, you have it out there, you have it launched, and that is awesome. So I think either way. Okay. Shadow work is not really about religion. Yes, no, not at all. I'm not sure about shadow work equates with sanctification. I'm not quite sure what sanctification is. I was just talking about type of self-improvement and gaining better understanding of yourself. Okay, awesome. That's nice. Do we have any additional questions? I feel like we've went through quite a lot of nice questions. I feel like this is nicely rounded. I hope that from these 3 days, you were able to really gain some nice insights into how to create your own product. I also hope that you've been able to look at the products that you want to create, have an idea of what direction you want to go, have some Post-its lying around with an outline of what you want to add and what transformation you want to give your clients. I look forward to seeing you in Impact Stationery Creators. For those of you who choose you want to do this with us, for those that want to do it on your own, I wish you a lot of success with that as well. I think you have a nice foundation here as well to work with and good takeaways so that you can get started with your stationery brand. For those of you who want to join us, the bonuses, yes, we have lots of beautiful bonuses as well that are in the workbooks. You will see there's so many very helpful resources, and it's just a bit of a taster for you of what you can find in Impact Stationery Creators. The point of these 3 days is to give you as much as we can, and also to show you what it would be like if you continue working with us. Of course, it is a bit of a taster as well, so that those of you who feel called to do this, like you feel like, hey, I want to create my own stationery brand, I want to create my own journals, affirmation card decks, whatever type of paper product you want to create, Impact Stationery Creators can truly become the way that can support you and do this with you. I see a few questions coming up. Let's see. So when we join Impact Stationery Creators, will we reach to all this information right away? Yes, right away. There's no drip content. You get access to everything right away. I can show you as well. Everything is in one place. So you get this link from us. You will see a button here. It says join now. You press the button, you put in your details, payment details, and then what you get is this. You will see the community. In the community, you'll also get access to the bonus dashboard. You get the classroom. In the classroom, it shows you everything, how to get started. It shows you all the coaches, the team, overview of everything, how to get in touch with the different manufacturers as well. Research. So we go through the whole research process. So some of the files you've also seen during this. This is just taking you deeper of how to do the whole process and validating your ideas, knowing your numbers, creating your concept. Design creation, we help you design your product, looking into like different brands. We also talk about trademark, legal sides. We give you recommendations who to work with. We get free trademark searches. We help you with how to figure out the content writing, how to figure out your design direction, how to hire a designer if you want to hire a designer. production, the whole process, getting the samples. So you basically can just follow step by step if you just go one after the other. And many of these videos are bite-sized, shorter videos that you can just follow. Some of them will be longer if they are a tutorial. Sometimes there's just a checklist if you need a checklist at that point of time. Sometimes it's just like a resource that you need at that point. But you can basically just follow the process that will get you from one phase to another, because this is divided into 4 phases. And the first 3 phases are basically research, design and creation, and production, manufacturing basically. And then the fourth phase is launching on Amazon. You get all the steps of how to launch on Amazon as well. It's again divided into, and we go into everything like setting it up, banking, virtual address if you need one, account verifications on Amazon, like basically every single step is covered in here for you as well. And then we also have bonuses, lots of different bonuses. We have this product here, we have it as a digital version, and we take you through a challenge. So getting through the whole process together, finding the idea shortlisting, idea validation. So you can go through this challenge step by step, and you'll have like these workbooks that are basically pieces of this product. And then you can basically just work on this and answer the question. We tend to create new things as we go as well, as we see like, hey, there's any need, we will create it for you. We also have past workshops are in here. You can see them in here, and then there's more. We also have like, I had a launch party for my shadow work journal, how to finance your project, how to find time to see your project through, reflections on the trip to Guangzhou. So there's like me talking about the whole the trip to China. Also, if you are a member, you also get access to apply to join in China. If you want to join in China, we also have behind the scenes, quite a few different things that are in here to really help you as much as we can, plus the calendar with all the calls. And we do have competitions is not the right, like rewards. So if you are on the leaderboard, position 1, every week we look at the first, and then you get to win something. So in the month of June, it is a 30 minutes one-on-one call with me. In the next month, we will always have something. So the number 1 leader of the 7 days leaderboard every week is going to get, a reward. We want to really reward implementation, because in the end of the day, if you implement, that's when you get the results. And we are all human. We all have human brains. And the hardest part is implementation for us. It's just natural how we are, right? And if we can add some gamification, if you can encourage you with lots of like co-working sessions, with making the process bite-sized, by guiding you through all of the steps, right? We're hoping that with that, we can get the best implementation possible, and with that, the best success rate. And if we look at our community, very active, like we are just over 200 people, but look, it is super, super, super active. And I love that, because people are working on their products. They're working on building this dream business of theirs and creating their own stationery products. So yes, I hope I could answer all the questions with that. If there's any additional questions, I'm always happy to answer any questions that you have. Of course, we can also have a Q&A tomorrow. If there's any open questions or anything happens until tomorrow, just make sure you need to join us until tomorrow 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. After that, the price is not going to be 111 anymore. It's going to be at 222, no exceptions. And we can't make exceptions because it's technically just not possible, right? Like we changed the price and that's it. You missed it. You want to join, you have to join at a higher price, which is still insane value. I mean, you're still having a good deal at 222, but why not get it at 111 if you have the chance now and keep that price and stay grandfathered in at that price? So yes, I like that you can go at your own speed. That is not trip fed. Yes, I'm a sprinter like you, Laura. Yes, I like sprinting. I sprint for a product and then I rest. Then I don't create a product for some time and then I'm again inspired for a period of time. I give it all, I create the product, and then that I find that for a lot of clients that works, that helps beat procrastination. There's a deadline, there's a short period of time where we create it and then we work on other pieces of the business. Okay, Donna is asking how much is this China trip, please? The China trip is $7,500. It includes 8 nights in a 5-star hotel. It includes all the transportation within China, including a plane ticket in China. It doesn't include the plane ticket to go to China, but within China, we're also going to do traveling. So it's 8 days together. We have an amazing executive suite in the Park Hyatt, beautiful luxury hotel in Guangzhou. And that's where we do 3 VIP group coaching days. We're a group of people all together. We're going to the Canton Fair, 3 days, visiting manufacturers. So we do lots of things. And the 7,500 includes, as I said, the hotel transport and all activities that we do there, including breakfast too. The calls in Impact Stationery Creative recorded. Yes, everything is recorded. You can always watch the replays. No problem at all. Is this new school platform? This new school platform is great. Looking forward to getting into the classroom. Yay! Very excited. Yeah, I love school. I really fell in love with school this year. I am as a client in a few communities and I've been loving it because I really am able to be there, right? Like I'm not distracted. I've been in like groups in Facebook. Facebook doesn't even show me what happens in the groups. Facebook only shows me some random memes. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I don't get to see the things that I want to see in Facebook. And this is why I've decided, let's move away from Facebook. I don't want distraction. We want to do this business. We don't want to be distracted by nonsense. And honestly, I get distracted by any nonsense. Any meme can distract me. And school is just phenomenal. I see so much focus with our community as well. Everyone knows where everything is, calendar, classes, everything in one place, community in one place. And the gamification, I love that as well. You can always see like where you are on the leaderboard and you can win. So I think that's really good. Fiona's asking, when will the China trip be? And do you have to be a member already to join that? I would recommend you to be a member to join that for sure, because then you will have the understanding of what it is that we do there. The trip is only for stationery products. We don't focus on other products. That's the focus there. And the trip is from October 25th until November 2nd. It's 8 days in China together. And yeah, 5-star hotel is, as I said, included. And we are a small group doing it all together. We've done this in May, and it was the most magical trip. It was just so amazing. We got so much done, but also the connections we've made in between each other. The coaching was so good. The visiting the manufacturer, it was so much fun as well. It was just such a phenomenal trip that I was like, okay, let's do this again. Because originally I had not planned it for October again, but it was just so amazing. So yeah. Okay. I need to see what it has because I need an offline Facebook community builder. Yes, I can recommend school. It's just so amazing. Yeah, October 25th until November 2nd. I find Facebook a bit frustrating as it is too distracting. Same. It's just a bit much. Okay, ladies, so nice seeing you all here. Make sure to join us in time if you want to join us. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow for a Q&A. So if you need to watch the replays, watch the replays. If you want to go through workbooks, go through the workbooks. And if you have any open questions, please make sure to let us know. There's going to be a post asking for questions. And we have a live call, just a Q&A call tomorrow for any type of question regarding the content. Any day 1, day 2, day 3, you can ask anything about the process where you feel unsure about. You can also ask any question that you're interested about general impact stationery products. And of course, if you have questions about any type of way of collaborating in the membership, then of course, all questions are welcome. I want you to be able to get away from this experience, this workshop, with the feeling that you've gained something, that you've got your answers, and that you know what you want to do moving forward, regardless if that is working with us or if you want to do it on your own. Either way. Thank you so much. I had a pleasure being here with you today, and I will see you tomorrow. So yeah, tomorrow's Q&A is 2 hours earlier than our call today. So it's just whatever time zone you are, 2 hours earlier than the calls that have been so far. Okay, see you very soon, and bye.